A subclass in TF2 is such a broad definition that me trying to reel it in and simplify it would be like trying to tell a TF2 player that everyone is entitled to their opinion and you should respect it. But I'm gonna try anyways.
A subclass in TF2 is a specialized loadout variant of a base class that uses specific weapon combinations to create a more distinct playstyle.
And there are a few of them, so for the sake of educating the general public and praying that this is the tiniest bit interesting, I'm going to tell you about a few of them today. I'll be talking about them in varying lengths depending on how much there is to say, giving you my actual thoughts on whether they're viable or not, and discussing loadout options where it matters, and hopefully not bore you to death in the process. I hope this gives you a decent foundation to go off of what makes these playstyles actually work. Also subscribe, please and thank you. Demoknight is easily the most popular subclass in the game with the most options available to me. It's not uncommon at all to see a Demoknight every 3 matches or so. Demoknight's gameplay loop looks a little something like this. Spawn in, get to the battle, and when you're there, don't charge immediately in. I mean, listen, you're trying to prey on single targets. You traded all of your crowd control for just this big sword. Just look for anybody alone, okay, not anybody, and know when your time is to strike. Closing the distance with the sword would be hard, but luckily that's where the shield comes in. And look, whichever one you pick, it's going to give you any charge to close the gap. Boots in your primary slot are going to be essential as well, as they give you a full list of buffs. He definitely has some great options for that melee slot, and some that are mediocre that I won't be discussing here. So for my sanity in this video's runtime, I'll talk about my favorites. The Islander is an absolute monster of a sword, and I wouldn't have it any other way. It comes with a few small side effects though. It has 50% more range than your average melee weapon, same with all the swords, and it's long enough to smack teleporters without even crouching. With the downside of it taking 75% longer to pull out or put away, which is not even a downside if you have my suggested loadout and you always have it out. What is a downside, however, is that it cuts your health down by 25. But again, that's negated if you just put on some goddamn shoes. However, we haven't even gotten to the Islander's main stat. Every time you chop off somebody's head, you get faster and tankier. Each head gives you an 8% speed boost and 15 extra HP. Stack up to 4 heads and you're zooming around at 307 hammer units per second. Faster than a scout with a chunky 235 HP. The number of heads you've got shows up in your HUD and they stick around until you die. Your eye patch even starts glowing brighter and brighter with each head. It's subtle at first, but by the 4th one, you're beginning to resemble a certain skeleton. If you decapitate another Demoknight using the Islander, you steal all of their heads on top of getting theirs. Same deal if you kill a soldier with the airstrike, a sniper with the bizarre bargain, or even a medic with the Vitasaw. I have no idea why it applies to the other weapons, but then again, nothing in this game works as it should. With the half Satoichi being a katana that both soldier and demoman can use, but really just use it on demo, you get a kill and then boom, the blade gets covered in blood and you heal for 50% of your max health. If it pushes you over your max health, you get that sweet overheal. This makes the half Satoichi a force to be reckoned with. You can chain kills together and just keep going and going and going. A little fun factoid about it too is if you hit another player who has the half Satoichi out, it's an instant kill, it just straight up deletes them. But much like its ancestors, this weapon is honor bound, which means if you pull it out, you're committed. If you try to switch away without getting a kill first, you take 50 damage. It punishes you for literally being a coward. So again, use it only on Demoknight. The Scotsman's Skull Cutter is pretty simple considering the last 2 we covered, but here's the big difference. It deals more damage and it can get random crits. And I mean like it gets them. It's infamous for this. You don't even need a shield to get crits with this bad boy while you're charging. 1 crit swing and you're basically deleting any class that isn't overhealed, except for the fat man. But there's a catch, obviously. While you've got this thing out, you slow down hard. Normally demo moves at about 93% speed, but with the Skull Cutter active, you're crawling at 79%. That's only 8 units faster than Heavy and 2 units slower than Soldier, so congrats, you're now the 2nd slowest class in the game with this thing equipped. So yeah, massive damage and crit potential, but you're going to be moving like you're wadding through molasses. And the shield, so, well, all you need to know is that they can do this. So use it wisely. Trolldier on paper seems useless. You're trading your rocket launcher, one of the most powerful weapons in the game, for one that does no damage. But trust me, pair it with the man treads and the market gardener, and it's some of the most fun you can have in TF2. All you have to do is shoot yourself in the air, and when you get close to an enemy team member, swing your shovel and deal a solid 195 critical damage to them. The sheer mobility you unlock is absolutely wild. You can launch yourself across entire sections of the map, soar over buildings, and take these unexpected angles that nobody anticipates, with the only limit being the skybox and your clip size. And I mean, truly, nothing feels better than landing a crit with the Gardener and immediately getting yourself out of there before their team can even react. It's frankly a silly playstyle that is so high risk and mediocre that it creates these funny yet equally intense moments that are exactly why I'll keep playing. High Tower is the Trolldier's map choice of practice, but you can really do it on any map. But the open spaces, multiple elevation levels, and the tower structure make it any Trolldier's paradise. It's hard to get the exact timing right when you first use it, and it's going to take a lot of practice. And if you really want to develop your skills with this loadout, SOUNDSMITH has put together some great tutorials that break down the techniques. Look. Pyroshark used to be this total meme strat where you'd camp in the 2 fort sewers with your neon annihilator waiting for some poor bastard to jump in so you could delete them with crits. I mean, 156 damage per swing on wet targets sounds incredible until you realize that water appears on like, what, 3 maps? Maybe 4? I don't know. 2 fort sewers, maybe Banana Bay if anyone actually plays that, and I'm genuinely struggling to name a 3rd one. The whole thing is basically dead in the water. You'd see one guy doing it every few months as a joke, maybe getting 1 or 2 kills before everyone caught on and avoided the sewers entirely. Okay, yeah buddy, real threatening stuff when your entire game plan revolves around enemies willingly entering your incredibly obvious camping spot. Now? Well, Valve buffed the gas passer so it makes people wet, but not like that, which means you're not tied to water anymore. You can throw gas, wait for it to recharge while you're doing literally anything else with your flamethrower, toss it into the choke point, and suddenly everybody's taking 156 from you on any map, anywhere. It's just too bad that the gas passer is like the worst weapon in TF2. Yeah, sorry buddy, you'll pretty much never be viable. Oh man, Pybro is genuinely great. You just park yourself near an engineer's nest and become his personal bodyguard. You air blast rockets and pipes away from the sentry, torch any spy that gets too close, and when the engineer's dead or off grabbing metal, you can get rid of the sappers with the home wrecker. Alright, is that enough? Or do you need me to keep going? Cause, okay. And can I just say, as an engineer main, you guys are saints. Absolute saints. Like, I think you're the greatest people. You know what? I don't believe this. You're not gonna intimidate me. Because that's what's been happening for my entire life. Run home to mom. Fat Scout inherently sounds like a joke when you first hear about it. Imagine telling somebody that just installed TF2 that people play Heavy, the class with the biggest gun in the game, the guy whose entire identity revolves around mowing down enemies. They just don't use it. They run around with the shotgun and melee. The new player would look at you like you just told them Santa isn't real. Sorry for the younger members of my audience. But here's the thing, it actually works. Not optimally, most definitely not in competitive, and not when your team desperately needs you on the cart to mow down those 5 pesky scouts. But it works enough to be genuinely viable in casual matches. You've still got 300 health, which is way more than Scout has. You're slower, yeah, way slower, but you're also this massive tank that can absorb damage that would put any other class in the ground. The shotgun does decently respectable damage up close, and you've got enough health to actually get into shotgun range without exploding entirely. And I would definitely say that weapon choices matter here. For the shotgun slot, stock is perfectly fine. It does the job, it's reliable, it's nothing fancy. And the panic attack can work too, since you're constantly in that close range brawl, where the faster deploy speed helps you when you need to react quickly. And the family business is my personal favorite. It gives you more shots and just feels great to use. Sure, you're taking flank routes, catching people off guard, and using your health pool to win fights that Scout couldn't survive. You're showing up where Heavy shouldn't be, and where enemies aren't expecting 300 HP of shotgun blasts. The mobility is very rough compared to Scout. You're talking about the top and the bottom here. You're not double jumping or anything, but you can still navigate the map in ways that spinning up a minigun would never allow. And I mean, really, does any of this make sense? No. You're actively choosing to not use your primary weapon, but that's kind of the beauty of it. You're taking this slow defensive powerhouse class and turning him to a weird pseudo-flanker with a health pool that lets you get away with positioning mistakes that would kill anybody else. It's dumb, it's impractical, it definitely makes your team's actual heavy main cry when you're doing this instead of pushing. Battle Engineer is where you ditch the whole sit behind your level 3 and pray nobody picks soldier or demo mentality, and you get actually aggressive. The main thing you're going to want to be using in your kit is the Gunslinger, which fundamentally changes pretty much everything about Engineer. The Gunslinger gives you an extra 25 health, bringing you up to 150, which puts you on par with other offensive classes, making you way less fragile when you're actually in the fight. Your sentries become the small, little, cute one, which sounds like a downgrade until you realize what you're actually getting. They cost 100 metal instead of 130, making you be able to build 2. They build insanely fast, and you could just throw them down in mid-combat, whether as a distraction tool or a weapon. They've got 100 health, they don't need babysitting, and when one dies, you just plop another one somewhere else. The trade-off is that they do less damage compared to a level 1, and they also can't be upgraded, obviously, but the speed and disposability makes up for the weaker damage output. For some primaries, you've got some great choices. The stock shotgun is solid, consistent, and does what it needs to do. 6 shots, reliable damage, no gimmicks, you can't go wrong with it. However, for our unlocks, that's where it gets spicy. For the Frontier Justice, you only get 3 shots, which sucks. But every kill and assist your sentry gets before it dies and turns into a revenge crit stored in the weapon. Your mini sentry gets 2 kills and then explodes, you've got 4 revenge crits loaded up, and triple damage is nothing to scoff at. Tell a medic to pocket you and get to work. The low clip size does mean you need to make more of your shots count, and missing one will effectively remove 33% of your clip. But when you've got those crits stored, you become terrifying. This works beautifully with the disposable mini-sentry playstyle, since you're cycling through these sentries constantly anyway, with the Widowmaker being the hardcore option. It uses metal instead of ammo, but every point of damage you deal gives that metal back. You hit for 60 damage, you get 30 metal back plus 30 extra. This means if you're landing shots consistently, you have infinite ammo and can keep placing mini-sentries without hunting for metal. Miss your shots or hit for weak damage, and you're stuck with an expensive paperweight. I mean, this subclass definitely has its upsides. You're mobile, aggressive, and your sentries build instantly, so you can adapt to the flow of combat. You've got more health than the stock engineer, and the playstyle is way more active and engaging than just sitting behind your gear. However, your sentries are weaker and easily die to any focused fire. You're giving up the defensive power of upgraded buildings, you need to constantly find metal to keep cycling mini-sentries. Also, like, everyone on the enemy team hates you. Like, nobody likes mini-sentries. So where should you place your sentry? Constantly. And I mean that, that's the whole point. Drop it in a side room during a fight to cover a flank, plop it on the point while you're capping to watch your back, throw it around a corner while you're retreating to buy yourself time, put it on high ground where it's annoying to shoot, or as throwing down a distraction that also does damage. You're playing Engineer like a combat class instead of a support class. You're using your buildings as tools rather than something you commit to defending. It is truly an awesome way to play that is undervalued on a lot of teams, whether offense or defense.
Forward! Wait, you actually thought he was going to talk about Battle Medic? Come on. The Chief has way better things to do.
Yeah, like what, Cass?
I mean, he said he was going to get his hair cut, then, oh, there was that one anime he wanted to start, and groceries,